My name is Jesse Sack, and this is an online presentation demonstrating my understanding of the Unit 3 Area Study 1 of the Environmental Study Design, Key Knowledge, the Importance of Biodiversity. Biodiversity is short for biological diversity, biological relating to life, and diversity relating to the degree of variation. Therefore, biodiversity encompasses the range of variation among organisms, as well as the richness of species of living organisms. Biodiversity includes all organisms, species, and populations, the genetic variation among these, and all their complex groupings of communities and ecosystems. It also refers to the interrelatedness of genes, species, and ecosystems, and their interactions with the environment. Usually, 3 levels of biodiversity are discussed: genetic, species, and ecosystem diversity. Genetic diversity is all of the different genes contained in an individual organism. This includes plants, animals, fungi, and microorganisms like bacteria. It occurs within a species as well as between species. Species diversity is all the differences within and between populations of species, as well as between different species. And ecosystem diversity is all the different habitats, biological communities, and ecological processes, as well as variation within individual ecosystems. Why is biodiversity important? Diversity creates diversity. Having a diverse array of living organisms allows other organisms to take advantage of the resources provided. Trees, for example, provide habitats and nutrients for birds, insects, other plants and animals, fungi, and microbes. Similarly, the natural interconnection of food and transfer of energy in an ecological community is entirely dependent on what organism eats what. But beyond this, humans have always depended on the Earth's biodiversity for things like food, shelter, and health. Species are hunted, fished, and gathered, as well as cultivated for agriculture, forestry, and aquaculture, all providing us with the food we live off. Timber and other forest products, as well as fibres such as wool and cotton, provide us with shelter and warmth. And both traditional medicines and those synthesized from biological resources and processes come from the world's biodiversity. Biodiversity also supplies indirect services to humans which are often taken for granted. Natural systems contribute to the production of drinkable water, clean air, and fertile soils. The loss of populations, species, or groups of species from an ecosystem can upset its normal function and disrupt these ecological services. Genetic diversity is also important in terms of evolution. The loss of individuals, populations, and species decreases the variety of genes or alleles, the materials needed for species and populations to adapt to changing conditions or for new species to evolve. Having greater genetic diversity means there will be a greater number of different alleles found in a species or population. With more alleles comes a wider range of alleles, meaning a wider range of characteristics. Therefore, a greater possibility that some individuals will possess a characteristic that suits the new environmental conditions. This means, in adverse conditions, it is more likely that at least some organisms will have the alleles that enable them to survive and reproduce further.